We have the tank, we have the equipment, all we're missing is the live rock. That changes today. What's going on, reefers? My name's Blaine. This is the King Tide Corals channel. If you guys are stopping in this week, I want to give a big shout out to you guys for stopping by to check out the video and the channel. If you guys are new to this channel, I want to tell you guys welcome to the channel, and also be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you guys don't miss out on any future uploads. This week is a very exciting week. We finally got the live rock we've been waiting for so long. I know it's been a couple weeks since I gave you guys an update on the UNS 5N build, but I'm really excited for today because we're finally getting the live rock we needed, and I'm gonna be finally getting that tank wet. I'm really excited to be able to share it all with you guys, the process of starting this build, and it's gonna be a really fun day of unboxing and checking out some really cool live rock. Let's go ahead, get into it, and get this tank ready to go. Alright guys, we're gonna go ahead and start working on getting all the equipment in, getting the sand in, getting some water in, and prepping this tank for when the live rock shows up. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright reefers, so we have the equipment on, we have some water in the tank, the sand in the tank, the lights are ready to rock and roll. All we need is our live rock, so we're just standing by till the package gets delivered.
2 hours later.
Alright reefers, the box is here. I'm really excited to show you guys what we ended up getting. It's going to be really fun opening this box. I want to give a big shout out to KP Aquatics. Thank you so much for sending me out some live rock. It had been some time till they were able to actually go and harvest some from their site. So big shout out to them for finally being able to get this in stock and send it out to its customers. It's making me feel like a kid again, diving into this box and checking out what kind of live rock we're gonna get. It's gonna be really cool to see what we ended up grabbing. So let's go ahead, stop talking, and dig into it. I want to make sure that I'm not grabbing onto any funky little things that are living inside this rock, because I know that I'm sure some sort of things are going to be inside of this. Wow, yeah, this is some really cool stuff. I mean, already right away you can tell, you know, super nice stuff. It's got all that coral line already growing on it. Really cool. We'll go ahead and grab, actually what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to grab a bucket. So that way I can separate this out, put it into some water, and that way we can take a little bit better look at it. So give me 1 second.
10 seconds later.
All right, reefers, like I said, I grabbed a bucket, put some salt water in it, pre-made, so that way I can go ahead and grab these rocks and put them immediately into some water. Here's the first rock that I got. Really cool piece. I love the dimensions on it and its style. I'm gonna go ahead and toss it into the water. All right. First piece down, moving on to the next one. Here's another smaller piece right here. Go ahead, break that open too. Man, some of these just have the coolest little dimensions on them. Just really cool stuff. The sponge growth and all the coral line, really nice, super cool. Nice little piece again. Go ahead, toss that one into the water. All right, 2 pieces. This is an interesting piece for sure. Looks like more of a flatter piece. Definitely really cool. This could be definitely used as a really cool backdrop. Wow, that's really interesting. Definitely a big flat piece. Big for sure, but it's got some really interesting structure to it. But awesome stuff. Really cool. Really cool. All right, I'll go ahead and get this one into the water as well. last but not least is the final piece that came from KP Aquatics. Once again, big shout out to those guys. Awesome, awesome stuff. Really cool. This looks like it's got some crazy sponges in there. Some crazy blue sponge. Some really cool orange, red sponge. Super interesting stuff. Really, really cool. Go ahead and drop this into the water as well so I can do a little bit better inspection on all these pieces. Once again, big shout out to KP Aquatics. Really awesome stuff. I'm super excited to be able to dive into it a little bit more. I'm gonna give it a chance to settle into this water, and then I'm gonna go ahead and break down each and every piece so you guys can take a better look at what I ended up grabbing. All right, reefers, so we're getting a better look now at the KP Aquatics live rock, and it's some really cool stuff. There's definitely a lot of really interesting algae growth on it, coralline, all kinds of interesting sponges. I know for one thing, there'll definitely probably be some hitchhikers that make their way within this rock. I know that I was able to find a single bristleworm so far, and I won't be adding that to the tank just as of now, but we'll see what we can end up finding in this rock. It's definitely got some really interesting stuff. I'm really excited about it. It makes me feel really nostalgic. Brings me back to my youth when I was picking out live rock in my local fish store when they used to get in live rock very similar to this. So once again, big shout out to KP Aquatics. I'm really excited to go ahead and try out scaping with this rock and see what we can do with it. All right, reefers, we're gonna go ahead and start working on putting some of this live rock into the tank, and I wanna work on my scape, so I'm gonna be going back and forth, but I do wanna try doing this while filming. It's gonna be a little tough if I do get to a point where I think that I'm not doing well on my aquascape. I'm just gonna set the camera down and then come back to it here in a minute.
A few moments later.
So it seemed as though filming with one hand and scaping with the other is not my forte. I think it ended up turning out really bad first off because I was filming and scaping, but once I put the camera down, I focused on the scape. I think it turned out to something I really like. Still working on this whole YouTube thing with the one hand and the filming and the scaping and all that jazz, but I think you guys are gonna like how this scape turned out, so let's go ahead and go over it. All right, I haven't shown you guys it since it's cleared up, but man, it looks awesome, and the rock is so beautiful. What my plan is here is that I have a lot of room here in the back, especially by the heater. I'm gonna try to utilize every last piece of this rock in this bucket, so that way none of it goes wasted. So I'm gonna go ahead and start grabbing pieces and start shimmying them into place. Another rainy day in Seattle, but I'm gonna get to breaking up some of these rocks. This is the remainder of what I have left. I don't really have too much left, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bust it up with a hammer, and then we're gonna go ahead and try to fit the remainder of this rock in so I can utilize every bit of rock, so that way I don't waste any. Let's go ahead and do it. Broke that one into 4 pieces. Got one more. We'll go ahead and bust this one up too. Nice. All right. Broke them up into a bunch of pieces. Gonna go ahead and use that. Alright, reefers, well, the scaping is done and we are only down to 2 small pieces of live rock left. I chiseled up that last big piece I had because the 3 pieces originally that I had fit perfectly into the tank and I really liked how they looked. As for that one big flat piece, I needed to chisel it up and break it so that I could be able to fit as much rock as I could into the tank. As for these 2 remaining pieces, I'll get them into a tank or into a bucket with some of my dry rock, and I'll start a little cycle to get this seeded and to be ready for any potential build in the future or for anyone in the local area that needs some live rock. That's gonna be really well seeded and it'll be fun to utilize for someone. As for the scape, I'm super pumped. I'm really excited about how this turned out. I think overall, the KP Aquatics rock has exceeded my expectations, and I think it's gonna be really fun to let this settle in and also be able to watch it over the course of the next couple weeks. I'm really excited about this process to show you guys. If you guys are interested about this KP Aquatics rock, I'll have a link down in the description below to their website. Also, leave a comment down below of what you guys think of the scape and the rock as a whole. I'm really excited about it. I wanted to use as much as the rock as I could, so that way I had a really strong biological surface for the bacteria to live on, and I think it's going to be necessary, especially with the lack of filtration on this tank. Let me know down below what you guys think. I'm really excited. Let's go ahead and keep talking about it. I talked about it previously, but I was talking to Tyga Boy about this KP Aquatics rock, and one thing he mentioned that I think is definitely important to let you guys know is I'm gonna have to stay on top of my water changes these next couple weeks. There's probably a lot of die-off that happened during the travel. The rock wasn't shipped in water, so there's definitely the potential for some die-off to happen. And with that being said, I wanna make sure that I'm exporting out that dead nutrients and resupplementing with fresh salt water. So that's no doubt one thing I'm gonna have to stay on top of these next couple weeks. If I were asked if I recommend this live rock to anyone, I would no doubt send anyone in the direction to the KP Aquatics live rock. And I think that it's worth every single penny. Of course, yeah, it's a little expensive, but if you can pay for it, I think it's totally worth it. It helps kickstart your cycle, and you already have some great coralline growth in your tank right from the start. If you guys are looking to find more about this KP Aquatics live rock, you can check out their website. It's linked down in the description below. I'm gonna go ahead and put the camera down for the next couple days, enjoy this live rock and enjoy this new build. I wanna go ahead, give it some time to get used to the tank, and then I'm gonna show you guys what it's looking like after a couple days in the tank.
Several days later.
All right, reefers, it's been a couple days and I am really excited about how this scape is turning out. I'm really excited about all this live rock too. I think it looks really good in the tank, and overall, I think the tank looks really good too. The minimal amount of equipment too is nice. I like seeing just the natural look of the tank. Of course, it's gonna be important for me to stay on top of water changes with no actual filtration, but I think this biological filtration that we have set up with the sand and this really great live rock is gonna be essential to this macro build. I think overall though, I really like the way it looks, and I think it's gonna turn out to be a really fun and cool tank to showcase. So let's go ahead and do a little montage of the new scape and the new tank, the macro Shorelines. All right, reefers, that's it for this week's episode. I'm really excited. I finally got this UNS 5N build started. It was really fun unboxing this KP Aquatics live rock with you guys, and also it brought me back to some really fond memories of when I first started in the saltwater hobby. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, be sure you guys subscribe so you guys don't miss out on any future updates of this macro Shorelines build. Thanks again, guys, and stay reefing.